Hello and welcome to another edition of the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show, where this week we continue our Coaches Cut Up Corner, and we're super excited and honored to have the head coach at Green Hope High School, Mitch Johnson, on the show. Coach Johnson's one of the top offensive coaches at the high school level anywhere around, and he did a masterful job this year in rebuilding. I always have great respect for guys that take over programs that are maybe not in the best shape and have kind of been a huge part of rebuilding that program. Coach took Green Hope to the state playoffs this year, and I know that's something that a lot of people didn't think was possible and did a great job rebuilding them. So obviously has a handle on the culture and all those things that are so important to rebuilding a program, but he also runs a YouTube channel that is great information. That's where I kind of first started seeing him, when I was following some stuff on his power raid offense, and I have always enjoyed when he posts stuff on there because it's great information and a lot of good football stuff. We've had the privilege of having Coach on before, and we're excited to have him on this time again. Really thankful for any coaches that want to come on and do their cut up corner stuff. Like I said, we're trying. The number one goal of the show is to help young coaches, help any coach really, trying to learn and broaden their horizons as far as knowledge. It's been a really fun thing to do. We've had some really generous coaches that have come on, some strength coaches, all sorts of great guests. We got a lot of people lined up, so we're excited about that. But before we get into Coach's topic, I want to take just a moment to let everybody know the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show is brought to you by School Funder. School Funder, the only online fundraising company in America that lets you keep all of the money your team raises. You would never willingly give away 20% of the wins your team earned. Why do you willingly give away 20% of their proceeds in fundraiser? Call the people at School Funder. That's SchoolFundr.org, and let them know the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show sent you, as it'll help the show. While you're helping the show, please, 100% free, just click that like and subscribe. We're trying to grow our audience, and the more coaches and subscriptions we get, the more coaches we're going to be able to reach. So I am going to shut up. I'm going to turn it over to Coach. Like I said, we had Coach on before, so we won't recap his story. I know Coach was a military kid and traveled around quite a bit, and I really enjoyed hearing that, and has been in multiple states and multiple programs and done a great job rebuilding them everywhere. So excited to hear about that, Coach. Anytime you want to fill anything else in about kind of the rebuilding process, you can talk about that as well, because I know you did a great job there, and I really enjoyed following your success on Friday nights this season. So take it away, Coach.
Well, first, I just want to say thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about a game that, means a lot to all of us. Obviously, spending our time taking a look at all this, and, I'm thankful for our connection. Here we are in Thanksgiving, so I just want to say thank you to you as well. I've been following all Arizona stuff now on Twitter, all the head coach openings and all the crazy stuff going on. Now all of a sudden my Twitter's full of it, so I feel like I'm living right there as well. But yeah, so this year, we went from last year, we averaged 6 points a game, 150 yards, to this year 350 yards and 30 points a game. I mean, that's quite the change. Our H-back, who you'll see a lot of our RPO went around, because you try to find the best matchup and the best players get the ball in their hand, right? And so he led our entire 8A classification in receiving, and was like top 10 in the entire state. And he's only a junior, so we're bringing him back. So kind of some of the stuff that I wanted to do is I'm going to show film, and if you want me to slow it down or want me to draw it up or give an explanation of what the principle behind it, just let me know. It's kind of one of those things that I always like to show the film, because you can always draw stuff up on a whiteboard and all that stuff, but I'll show a lot of the film. And the first thing that I just realized I wanted to share, because I haven't really broken this down to anybody, is trying to figure out why. Trying to get to my Google Drive, and I wanted to show our explosives and what RPO is, because we're talking about RPOs, right, Coach?
Yes, sir. And like I've said, I'm the worst RPO coach in America, so I'm excited to learn from you. And the film is always a great way for me to learn. I know I think that helps me more so than a whiteboard. But
Yeah,
I'll
and
ask you
that's
questions as you're going.
absolutely, and that's kind of, everybody can make these RPOs end up. Some people make it look like play action in this third level. We take first and second level pretty much, and it's quick. Like, I mean, we got called. I think only in one game we had three lineman down field calls, but so we had a total of 110 explosives out of 500 plays this year. We try to be really efficient this year with not so worried about tempo of making sure the play call and that the players and the quarterback, everybody had a chance to read and make the right decision and put us in the best spot. So we had 110 of those. 80 were in the pass game, 30 in the run. We had the number one, arguably, sorry, don't want to upset anybody that might have Green Hope history, arguably one of the top two offenses of all time. Don't want to get anybody fired up, but out of that pass, a lot of that's RPO. So if you take a look right here, we had 26 RPO, and then even the whip was actually part of it. So if you take a look at that and you add that, then you would see that it's about 50-50 because that's 26, 27. So there was, out of those, 57 run plays called, all right, and ended up, so you take that off of the pass. So we were pretty balanced. It's just the RPO game, and this is explosives. So that means that we had at least 20 yards on these. And so even off of a bubble, smoke and all that, like, we were able to get after it with the quarterback making the right decision, whether it was a read or if it was a pre-snap. So we do pre-snap and post-snap. So that's kind of just a little bit of how we broke it down to our RPO. And what we do for our RPO is we have it on both sides, right side, left side of the runs, and we'll either lock it, which means it's now going to be kind of a second level, or a pre-snap. We'll read it, and it then becomes it's a post-snap, and it's a first level screen type of thing. Then sometimes we'll hit. And what we just do, a lot of it is to help our quarterback if they're super run defense heavy and they're trying to take the run away. Well, now you get that little flash fake and boom, somebody's wide open, and it allows us to make some really good plays. So, Coach, anything quick before I jump into the film?
Which I know you said 20 over for a pass. Is it 15 over for a run? I know different people use explosives, kind of the definition of that differently.
Yes, sir. 15, and that's not even with the pass interferences and all that. So I mean, we had even more than that. But yeah. So it's the pass is over 20, and the run is over 15. So yeah,
Perfect.
we did some good things. Even with we got shut out a couple of times. As a program, we got to try and get to that next level. But a couple of teams we scored the most, that they gave up all year. So we did some things. I mean, there was some matchups that obviously we wish we could have done better. But we're getting there. We've only been with these kids not even about a year and a half now. So not too bad. But
Didn't
yeah,
realize
so.
North Carolina went to 8A. That is,
Yeah, there's a lot of politics, a lot of people, blah blah blah, but at the end of the day, we had only 24 out of the 30 big 32. So all these schools have over 2,200 kids, and that's what we're in the 8A. It doesn't matter if it's a magnet school, whatever. We just got jumbled up and put into a classification. Just kind of, so our playoff 2 weeks before our last game, we were looking at possibly still hosting. A lot of things happened the last couple of nights, or the last two Friday nights in the year, and we also beat a team that ended up being 1-9, and that hurt our strength of schedule. Then a couple other teams lost, and so we went from possibly hosting to then having to go to a preseason nationally ranked team who, because they had three losses, didn't matter who it's against, which two of their losses were nationally ranked teams. We ended up going there, and they had nine D1s at the time, and now that their season's over, they have 11 D1 kids. Yes, we have maybe some D2. So it was quite the night, but it was good because it was the first time we made playoffs in 8 years. So it was good for the kids, and obviously first time being 8A, so a lot of history was made, all that good stuff. So, but anyways, I'll stop rambling on, but because I know a lot of people probably want to see the football side of this, the X's and O's. All right, so some of it'll be a little bit wide, just because of trying to get to where I can move. Right here, hide this. Okay, good. Okay, and let's see if I can get to the next. That's the next play clip. I was trying to see if I can get it to another angle, but that's all right. All right, so here we are. We're gonna run GT Arrow off of this. That's one of our bread and butter. So what we'll do is we'll read that defensive end. Um, these guys are taking on most dangerous man if you're in the slot. So here we are. Not a very good effort by him. He should be attacking. I mean, this is our first game. This is the second play, I think, of the entire season. This guy does a good seal block. He doesn't do a good job, but you can see they're trying to take away our run. I mean, he comes straight up field. Ball, we end up getting rid of it a lot quicker later in the year, but there it is. And the ball was supposed to be thrown like right here, and you would see how much more room he would have, but the ball was thrown out a little bit. Great catch by our H-back. That's the kid that led 8A. Obviously not a good block here, but he does his best at making it. Later in the year, he gets up the field instead of going wide, but he still makes a little bit of magic happen there. All right.
Is that out of Trey?
No, sir. So here's a good angle of it. So this is what we call pro right, and then it'll be Falcon if he's at the wing. It'll be it'll be Raven on the right side to the wing, Falcon and so there's sniffers and wings. We didn't do very much Trey this year because people didn't change up much of it. So here it is. He's right there. So we're running GT, and he gets off the edge. That guy goes super wide. So if that ball's thrown a little bit sooner, he would have a little bit better room. But there, and he
So
makes
when
the
you
guy
said
miss.
he's reading the defensive end on this, or
Yes, sir.
do you have any thoughts on the alley player there? He's inside, so you figure that guy can pin him. Is that part of his thought process, or is it just purely the defensive end?
Purely defensive end because we're just running GT and then arrow. So then what he is seeing is hard deck. How many guys are they past 7 yards? This guy is about 12 yards off. We like our numbers over here. They have nobody accounted for him. And then if you take a look at the flow, he comes right off the edge. They drop out. And so we have good numbers here. And he's not as mobile. We end up going to our backup quarterback who is more my system quarterback that I prefer, and he'll actually attack this. And so if they see you'll see later. I think I saved the clip. He'll have seen this, and our quarterback would have pulled, and he took one like 60 yards right here because he would just, all right, they're all pursuing there. I'm going to go. So it's actually kind of a triple option type of thing.
So what's going to determine if he would run it there? Because there was a lot of grass there. That
Yeah.
defense
So
closed
if this
hard.
defensive end crashes, then he would go. But like I said, this guy's more of a pocket passer.
Okay.
Yeah. So he wasn't a fan of running and getting hit.
Yeah, we had that a little bit this year too.
All right, so then here we are now GT, but now we're out of our 10 personnel, our trips look. And so now we'll go slant, stick. So we'll have slant on the backside one-on-one, stick on the front side, and then I'll have a good. And so then what he's reading us here is he'll take a look at the window. So obviously slant's kind of dead right there. And then we saw how they were lined up to trips, and this guy will flow out. So we actually he'll run, he should be a lot wider to run the guy out, but then we'll do speed out and our stick route. So it's not in the way. So he's reading it. This guy doesn't take it away, so we're going to throw it.
And could you, like, with your cursor, circle the read there on this one? Who he's reading
Yeah,
on this?
so our read is going to be, so like I said, on this side we like this, but don't like that. And on this side is what we're doing is we're reading like a stick kind of pop right here. So his read is if he stays on the outside shoulder, then we're going to take that all day long. And then we'll also read this, that if this guy stays back and he stays on him, we'll throw the speed out. And I have that actually on this as well. So he's going to read his leverage. You see the linebacker super slow to the flow. Now he's dropping back, they saw, and there's a nice easy gain. And then, like I said, get your playmaker and let him make a play.
What was the run attached to that one, Coach?
That would be GT.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that would be GT.
I know you're a big gap scheme guy, and you said you
Yeah.
kind of got away from inside or outside zone at all. So I'm assuming most of these are with GT, maybe some buck stuff.
So we have a lot of buck protection and a couple things off of power. So if you take a look right here, one of the things that we saw with them was they have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another defensive end right there. They have 5 guys on this one side. Well, all we have is one receiver and our guard and tackle. So we had a huge number to the fields. And so we burnt them all game long with that. So there's that run. And now here we are, and I'll get to this angle. But now what you'll see, one of the things, is it even going to play? All right, so yeah, it does. Okay, sorry. So now what we're doing is we'll stack it, and this will be a smoke screen. All right, and what we're doing is it's a triple option thing. So, but right now, this is going to end up being either GH counter because I can see where the H is, or we're going to run power. But either way, he can pre-snap and throw that immediately, and you'll see it's one-on-one. Then they have a safety floating around, and then they have this backer. Well, we're not too worried about that backer. We trust our slot receiver to make a play. So it's a pre-snap smoke. But now let's say that we're running like a GT arc, and we'll run that. But now with this kid didn't, like I said, it wasn't a runner. But what we'll do with a GT arc is we'll still read the end, and then he'll lead block. And if this guy reacts to there, he'll throw it out here. If this guy goes out or drops back, then he'll run. So we're just pretty much trying to take advantage of numbers and leverage. So right here, he's in no man's land. So you see smoke, and then we have a backside slant. That's what we do a lot to the one receiver side. And as you can tell from, remember the previous film or previous one, they started coming up in the box, right? Now we have like 7 or 8 guys in a box all the way up in here. Look at all that room right there. So now he's pretty much kind of reading that safety. And so he sees that they're staying way off. He's got outside leverage, and the receiver wins. So just trying to find ways to give our quarterback options.
I know you said Green Hope, I believe, is a pretty high-end academic school. Has that
Yes,
helped
sir.
you with maybe there's a lot going on there pre-snap for
Yeah.
the quarterback? Has their ability to kind of process that information? Because there's obviously there's book smart and there's football smart, and they're definitely two different things. So how is that process gone?
So I think, yeah, we had talked right after our spring game in May. So Monday through we were doing smart lunch meetings, and I would do quarterback academy at least one day a week for 50 minutes, and then we would also do something with offense, and then all summer long, well, we implement in the spring, and then our receivers, obviously this is the second year in the system, so they understood and then we kind of dialed it back we were like, all right, what looked good in the spring, what looked good in spring ball, here's what we're going to focus in on summer. And what we then do is during the summer, what we focused on was we didn't worry about the quarterback running back mesh as much anymore. When knock on wood, we didn't fumble but one time all year, and it was actually off of a bad snap. We worked that a lot in the spring, a lot. I feel like after 10 days of working on that for 15 minutes, you should be pretty good with that mesh mechanic. But then what we did in the summer is we did inside run, and what we would do it on inside run is every one of the days we would change up what receivers were live, and that would allow our quarterback to have that look. And one of the things that we started realizing was like, man, we like, just like right here, we like these matchups. If they're, if we have a chance to take a slant. And so what we did a lot of times with the one receiver side, it was an automatic slant. Nobody's giving us hitches. This isn't 2021, 2022 anymore. Like nobody just lets you go down the field on hitches. Get them on, so we'll go on slants or whips or speed outs. But most of the time it's that, unless it's, it's pretty obvious, like either we're going to go slant, fade. And what the quarterback is taught is like, if you are going to 80% completion, I'll let you throw it. And otherwise, then the other side, it was pretty simple, coach. I mean, we were stick and pop. I mean, that stick and pop is pretty much what we were doing, and it was pretty obvious when we were going to throw it. It wasn't rocket science for when we were going to throw it. The fun got into when we had the running quarterback. You start seeing people's boxes change a little bit, so we were attaching stick and pop off of quarterback runs as well, and treating it almost like a draw. But I mean, let's see, we went Monday through Thursday for, I think it's 6 weeks kind of in the summer, or 4 weeks in the summer, and we get our own hour of offense, and then while defense was going, I was with the quarterbacks, and we were working through reading, and I would give them different looks on the field, and then we'd also talk about it on the whiteboard, and then obviously game planning. It was hey, here's what we're going to see, boundary field. This is how they line up. This is the matchup that we like, this matchup we don't like. Here's what the box is going to look like. Here's your +1. Here's, all that stuff. So, we had to teach them a lot of football. We had to teach them a lot of football IQ. But they are very smart. They retain information very well. This was the second year in the offense, and next year I feel like we'll take it to an even higher level. Sorry. So here we are. We have our H-back in. And so when we're having our pro, and so this is actually off of power. We fake power. And then we realized that when he was crashing on the defensive end, for some reason, coach, you've seen him now, 4 plays? This guy's just standing there. And so we just took our advantage. And he just out leverages them. So this is off of power, and it ends up becoming like power read because of him just slipping out. Because you'll see that they're just coming up field. So
I've
why
seen some
block them?
people do this. Is this so the quarterback's looking at the defensive end, and is that the guy that would kick him that's sneaking out into the
Yep.
flat?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So right there, you see that everybody's blocking down, and he would normally kick them. So they're trying to do a scrape exchange, but guess what? There ain't nobody on him. Because this guy's actually he's a good amount off. It's just from that angle, and scored a touchdown off of it from the 15-yard line.
So they were crashing the defensive end down and bringing that backer over the top
Yep, that
for
good
the
old scrape
power, and you guys
exchange.
snuck that guy out in the flat. That's high quality football right there.
And here we are, and hit slant. He should have thrown this window now, but coach, our receivers were pretty good. We have a sophomore that he's probably going to start getting some good looks. Like I said, our H back, a huge utility guy. Led led our classification in yards, catches. He had 12 touchdowns, and then this is a kid that transferred in June from right down the road. So he was another very good one-on-one matchup slant kid. We were pretty dangerous.
There was a lot of grass there. I could see why he
That's
wanted to take the slant there.
Coach, and I'm going to tell you something. You see this? So there's a game later on that we're up very handedly, and our quarterback throws 2 interceptions by getting too comfortable, getting lazy. Doesn't drive through it. He lets this cornerback get pick sixes. Otherwise, we would be sitting here talking about averaging probably like 400 yards of offense a game. So yeah, there was that. Let's see. I'm tired of picking on the same team, but it's just kind of taking the field. All right, so here we go. Now this is he was our backup quarterback, but he's the reason why he was a backup quarterback. Long story short is we redid our entire classification. We were supposed to have they switch up a bye week, and they switched to the bye week on us, and he had already had a trip with his family, like all of his family going down to the beach, a bunch of people. And so he missed a week. So I was like, man, I love you. I was like, but that's not fair to your teammate. That it's a senior. He didn't miss any days, all that stuff. Well, so here he is in our second game of the year, and boom, he's got a pretty good arm, and he just rips this out here on a bubble and lets people make plays. So we'll
He
attach
does a
bubble
good
on our
job
trips.
getting that out there because that defensive end is bearing down on him, and he did a nice job standing in there and getting
But yeah,
that
coach,
bubble.
this guy's got freaking nerves of steel, man. He's gonna, and he has an arm. He played baseball, decided not to play baseball. He's doing track. He's trying to get his 40 down to in the 4.4s. Right now, he's at like about a mid 4.5. So he's trying to get faster. He wants more carries next year, but he has a rocket for an arm. That ball might sometimes be going like this, coach, but we're getting there. He ropes it out there and let guys make a play.
Which I love the way your bubble guy gets out there. I've
Yes,
heard Jason Mons talk about your plan is to get at least 4 yards from the sideline, get near,
yes,
get out there, make them run, and I think he did a great job on that.
yes. The guys, we work a lot on bubbles, and I'm like, guys, we ain't fast enough to try and do all this slow pace, walking backwards type of stuff. You better freaking get going. All right, so now here we are. Teams really don't like unbalance. All right, so what we go is we go unbalance. We call this quattro. Okay, for 4 guys on one side. So we're gonna run GT this way, and then we're gonna run this arrow here, and we'll also set this up, and he'll run an arrow, or this guy will run a bubble, and then we'll hit a little stick behind the linebacker. But this is You see a little mix up. The officiating at beginning of the year, this is week 3. This was our first home game, so it's a different group of officials than we've dealt with. Coach, they were just on us about who was on, who's off. And we have 2 guys on. We're checking in with you. This guy's covered. He's dead. We know that. And so you see this right here, this confusion. And imagine if he doesn't get confused because they're trying to communicate. The ref's like literally yelling to him, and I'm probably yelling at the ref. And then you got my dad here probably yelling at the ref like, no, like those 2 are on. But if you take a look, if he was able to go and get a little bit more of a block, this is probably a touchdown.
I love that set, and I love that it's into the boundary. You don't
Yes,
see,
sir.
you just have a numbers advantage right off the bat there. You don't see a lot of people, because of how the high school field is constructed, bring an extra guy into the boundary.
Coach, I love things into the boundary because we teach our quarterbacks no seams, get that ball out there. And a lot of defensive coordinators, you know this. It doesn't matter what state, what level. They do not like put numbers into the boundary. You know what I mean? And we're able to because, like I said, we can go. We can now have our H back go across all the way to the field side. Or what we'll do is we'll go trips into, no matter if it's on balance, any type of trips into the boundary, and we feel great about our outside receivers having, whether it's a speed matchup or a 6'2" with a guy that can dunk like standing. You know what I mean? Like trying to find the best way to put our athletes in space. So there's that. All right, now this is later into the game. Now we're going into trips into the field, and now what we saw was this guy right here was not worried about the stick route because they figured that he was going to come down, and you see that this safety's playing way back. Wait till you see the amount of area. So now we're kind of reading grass at this point. We're reading how they handled this, and this is going to be beautiful off of GT. Boom. He triggers on him because his eyes are on number 3, right? So his eyes are 2. Look at that. Nice little pop off of GT.
Yeah, that's beautiful stuff right
And
there.
then there he goes.
Coach, let me ask you, because I think one of the keys to this is how you drill it. How do you go about drilling this? Because he's really doing a nice job timing wise. Both kids have done a nice job getting the football out there. So how do you drill this?
So we do actually, you're gonna laugh. We actually do not work on it during our offensive time. We wait till the defense is up there or doing their stuff, and that because then what happens is we have all of our guys, and we until they need us for 7-on-7 run, or for them to work on a run fits. We got a bunch of other stuff. Well, our guys have already practiced for an hour, so now it's like, okay, let's work on the little details. And so we'll actually kind of walk through it. We'll go like with our stick route and our pop route, we'll go 50%, 75%, then 100%. And what we'll have me or another coach, what we'll do is, and this has happened on both sides, we'll sit there and give those guys a different look and on how they should stem, and also for the quarterback whether to throw it or not. And so that's how we work on it, and we do that for like 10 minutes. And what we'll do is we'll do our pre-practice. Those guys will do their screen stuff. So they'll throw their bubbles, their smoke, and getting that ball out there quick type of stuff. So that when we go for the way that we do our practice, they're warmed up, they're ready to go, and they're focused and locked in, for the start of practice. All right. So then here we go with this one. You're going to see GT because once again, they're stuck. You know what I mean? And look at that. We already won on leverage. So this is more of a pre-snap one, and watching leverage because this guy for some reason they're worried about the run, and our corner or our receiver comes in and cracks the corner. You see that they're blitzing everybody, so we're just gonna get it out there, boom, and now it just wins one-on-one matchup. Sir.
So
All
he
right.
had decided that one pre-snap based on the leverage there, Coach?
Yep. Yes, sir. And then here we are again for another explosive off of GT. Nobody's out there. Let me stop that one, Coach, so I can explain this to people. If you have a team that's going to play the old school 3-4 with the 2 outside backers, what you automatically have to understand is that you are kind of screwed, and you're going to have to throw the ball, right? These are 5 guys. We have 5. So even if we were to read 1, okay, you still have 2 backers to account for. Well, now they have 7 guys in the box, Coach. This guy is, 15, almost 15 yards off. So we were running slant arrow all night long, and then even here we threw this a couple of times, where our smoke screen, and we just took it. We just kept saying, "Hey, we're gonna make it look like we're running, and then we're just gonna throw it out there." Pops it over his head, and get our best player ball in his hands, and let him do his thing with terrible camera work.
So that kid's back next year. You guys are going to be able to do some pretty cool things with that young man.
Coach, he's back, and he's only a sophomore. Our H-back's back, and he'll be a senior. And then our other receiver, he'll be back. So the only one in this picture right now, like I said, was our starting quarterback at the beginning of the year. But now our other starting quarterback comes back. So the only one that we're losing is him. Yeah, it is. It can be a lot of fun. So we've already talked about one-word tempos, one-word calls, and stuff like that because the guys are ready for it. It was one of the things that we were thinking about doing it with the playoff game, but when you're facing a team that has 11 D1 guys, I was like, guys, we're gonna milk the clock. All right, we're not trying to go tempo on them, but it's something we've already kind of started working on and talking with because now they know the play calls and all that. So let's see. I'm gonna go into a different type of play. All right, so here we go again. We're running pop. We're probably running stick first. And so then there's our stick. So we're running double sticks here. Another air raid concept. So just double sticks. Both guys are wide open. This is what happens, Coach, when you're averaging like 300 yards pass or 300 yards a game. Everybody's bailing out, and they're just giving you the checkdowns, and they're just flying upfield. I mean, Coach, they had like 2 D1 kids on D line. And we end up still winning 49-0. Just boom, get that quick release, make things happen. And then you see this is our when this quarterback was in, this receiver would be our guy that came and got the. So you see as soon as he's down, he's sprinting there so that we're not losing any time. He's getting the play call going in. Then so our quarterback gets about 15 to 18 seconds, Coach, to sit there and read pre-snap.
So let me ask you from a schematic standpoint, because I've seen you guys run these some out of 3x1, some out of 2x2. You talked a little bit about that 3-4 stuff. What is determining what you like it more out of? Your 2x2 with the tight end wing, or your trips with the tight end wing, or how do you go about formation in that?
I guess a lot of it is what the defense, where they can consider what is our strength. I guess if they're more worried with that wing or sniffer, are they going to count? Now the thing about this is they're going to count him as if they're doing it smart and the running back's on the other side. So now they have 2 receivers, an H-back, and the running back. So now their run strength is they're kind of confused because, wow, why is he over there? So it's messing with their head. So it's one of those things of we really love to get into trips, but the trips part, the third receiver is either a sniffer or an H-back because then it also helps us go to our GH counter or go to a same side power type of look. And then if it's a 3-4, we want to try and get it as many different ways of trips and 4x0 type of stuff so that they're leaving all those guys on that other side for no reason. You know what I mean? And then a 4-3 is where are they going to put the backer? Is he a field backer? Will they ever keep him in boundary? How do they play the trips? Is he inside? Is he apex inside of 3, or is he inside of 2 or 3? And that's kind of what we've been picking on people, as you can tell, is if they have 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and that's usually when they see run, they're all collapsing down right for the run fits, and so that leaves us wide open space from the apex backer to that middle linebacker to hit the pop and the stick. And so then here is our whip route on the outside. They're playing inside leverage, and then they're worried about him. So you'll see that we just do a runoff. He acts like he's running a slant, and we just win on the whips on both sides. I would have taken this throw too, but look at this. They just collapse because they're so worried about him. Easy, just nice and easy, Coach. Take what they're going to give you.
That's a great route too.
Yeah, we work on Wednesdays. We work everything we do is red zone. Everything's red zone routes. So we work on our one-step fades. We work on our outside release slants. The diamond release slant. We work on our whips. We'll work coming in motion to hit arrows and doing all the rub. So a lot of little details, Coach, that the year before that we weren't able to, because like I think I had told you, and it had been official, I think, for spring ball, but we also doubled the amount of coaches we had. So attention to detail and me being able, and I don't usually say but I was able to focus on quarterbacks and receivers a lot more, not worry about other things this year, and making sure that schematics was right, type of stuff. And because I had such a relationship with those guys, I knew the quarterback, what his strengths were, who he liked to throw to. I knew what the receiver's strength was all that good stuff. So now here we are into bunch, and see he's taking his time, and we have numbers because he's 10 yards off. They have 6 in the box, safety playing here. They're playing one-on-one backside. So then that's just off of GT.
The thing that's great about this is that guy coming off the edge is definitely not. We've run into a little, not a lot, because we've done a good job bouncing and logging things and stuff like that. But that guy is paying no attention to the fact he's getting a down block. He's screaming up the field.
Oh, coach, and we didn't have one ball batted down, so we worked on that as well. And then now here's a speed out. So if another thing that we started getting to this, so now this is week 5 or week 6, we haven't beat this team in like 10 years, and you see we're comfortably up. But one thing that we started doing also with compressed formations was how far are they willing to come in? And now look at this. I mean, so this is the kid that ran the slant you've seen. You've seen him win on the whip route. Now watch this speed out. He just breaks it off. Boom. There it is. Head turned, money. And I know it's not a big gain, but it's one of those things of look how many guys are in the box.
It's efficient, though.
Yes.
And he's looking at the alley player to the side of the speed out here.
So he's reading him. He's reading the corner the whole time because he already has seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys in the box, and we only have 6 to block. And more than likely, this is either a GT arrow, so GT here, arrow that way, or we're running power and we just don't have the numbers. And as you can tell what they're doing, they're staying at that next level. So even that's 5 yards off line of scrimmage. As you can tell, they're staying all in that box. They're very disciplined in that, so we passed on them quite a bit that night. Couldn't do a lot of running. We killed them a couple times on buck sweep when we added more bigger bodies in there. But as you can tell, they just were kind of reading everything, so we just picked them apart. I mean, our sophomore receiver had a big night as well, and so we just took what they gave us. All right, now this is a team that won our conference. This is our backup quarterback that ended up starting after this. Take a couple looks at these plays. So here he is, boom, against, let's see, D1, one linebackers, and then I think they have like 6 D1s.
I was going to say, they look like they got some dudes.
And look at that, coach. No, this is his second or third play in the game. Just look, he looks him off. Like, watch his head. I mean, Coach, I'll tell you something. I love this kid right here. This is like my quarterback in Northwood I had was my favorite. This one is, I love him. I mean, he is my guy. I let him rip it. Boom, head, and just puts it right through there. And now watch this one. Has to get his mouthpiece in first, Coach. Sorry. Rides it, throws a slant on a D1 kid. And that's a kid that has won slants. He won the speed out one. Yeah, we like him. But next year he'll be in the slot. All right, so now here we are in a rivalry game. So I wanted to show a little bit of some other stuff that we'll do because I really wanted to shout out the gun tee and some of the things that they do. All right, so what we have done here now is what they call, I think, red heavy or whatever. And so what it is, we have now gone over. So now this is our left tackle. This is our different tight end, our 2 receivers. Our H-back is hidden back here. And we run buck, and we have numbers. And honestly, Coach, we probably could have ran power, buck, but watch this. We needed a big play, and so we ran a pop. Got it, Coach. When you don't have the athletes that other teams do, you got to get creative, and that's what we did right here. This was a big play.
So where was that guy hidden at? Could you run that by me again?
He's at the left tackle.
Okay. Oh, love it.
Yep, we sugar huddled. Left tackle.
So you got on the other side, you got your left tackle on the right and the tight end over there?
Yep, the other tight end, and that's our H-back.
Gotcha.
Yep. And so this is a game that we scored a touchdown with 10 seconds left, and it got brought back on a holding call. And that would have been the first time we had beaten this team in 15 years. the game got taken from us. That kind of sucked. It's a big rivalry game. They're literally a mile and a half away from us. So yeah, so that's one creative way to do it. All right. I'm sorry, I'm trying to move this. Okay, so now here we are. You talked about going into the boundary, right? So now we got 4 receivers into the boundary. We're going to run bubble. With who? Our most dangerous guy, right? 1, 2, watch them flow. So now he goes and gets him, pulls it. Look at this, coach. Boom. Just like a freaking second baseman. There it is. And so then we end up scoring in this game. We'll continue to let the clock run. We score with 4.5 minutes left. And then just defense couldn't get off the field, and we end up losing this one. So we lost. We were 7 points away from being 8-2. And all the teams we lost to made to the second round of the playoffs, which is the Sweet 16. And so yeah, all right. So now here's the one to put us up and to put us in the lead. So what we're gonna do, what we've been working on, you're gonna see the arrow, and then another thing that we'll do is we'll run a smoke with a slant and watch this whip route, because we already scored on the arrow routes. So they think that arrow is coming this way. Look at him. Look at them all jump down. Look at his eyes. He's inside. Watch this.
And is this one where he's reading the corner again, Coach?
Yep. He's reading the corner and the safety here, because watch what happens when they see him come this way. You can see it right now, Coach. They have him on him, and then they have him on him. They're taking him away because he's already scored 2 touchdowns in this game. Watch their eyes. Look at his eyes, literally looking for him. We set it up. Boom. Touchdown.
Ball, too.
Yes, sir. I love that kid. All right, and now here was an example of running our bubble slant. Both slants are wide open because of the bubbles. Look at that. Because they're playing man. They both went on slants. Touchdown. So, yes, sir. That's what I got for y'all. If you need me to if you want me to explain anything or whatever, just let me know or draw it up. I got you.
Coach, if you want to drop, if you were going to teach this to your team, the beginner, give me the beginner course on this with GT blocking, kind of how you're walking through it on the whiteboard. I love the film, was fantastic. You have so many creative ways, and if you have to go, I understand, but if you want to take a second to maybe walk us through how you'd be teaching it to your team, that would be great.
Yeah, all right, so let me get this right. All right, so why is it trying to get it to where I can? There we go. All right, so one of the things that we'll do, so we have first level and we have second level. All right, so what we're trying to do is we are going to, on our first level, is read the end. All right, so what a lot of teams are going to do, especially if we're running GT that way, they're gonna scrape, right? So what we like to do is we like to see how much we're willing to get. So if we're going to the boundary, we'll run normal stick. So there, get out of there, and we'll go speed out. And we actually hit the speed out a couple of times on our RPO. And why we'll do that is like we talked about, there's no, sometimes defenses will not, put numbers into there. And so now what the quarterback is now reading is how is this linebacker handles it. So a lot of times what we get is we'll get this type of a look. All right, so now if we see that this end, we're automatically assuming that end is crashing, and now our second level is we're reading off of him. So if he goes here, we throw that. If he takes that away, we'll hit the stick, because then what a lot of teams are, then they think that because that guy's there and the safety's over top, a lot of people won't throw that, right, Coach? Like some people, that's just how they read it. For us, what we like to do is we know that this guy and this guy are better athletes than that guy, so we're going to put him in very bad shape of having to decide, just like you run a normal stick. And now our quarterback gets to, it's almost like a play action. He's going to flow down. He's going to possibly come down here or shadow. All right, and now all of a sudden we hit that stick or we hit the out. So then what we'll see is the other thing that we like to do is if this backer's flowing this hard, then what we'll do is he'll run the stick to occupy him, and he'll run that pop right there behind that linebacker in front of that safety. So that's like our bread and butter type of stuff off of stick. So that's, because we're a big air raid team, sticks are one of our favorite plays. Matter of fact, I'll show you off of it. stick. We had, think about this, it's 6 explosive plays off of that concept. All right. And off of that, so then you add that. So 9 of our 110 came off of stick, and then we hit pop as part of our stick family or our fade family. So you have 6, 12, 13. You have 16 plays off of just stick as for explosives. And then the other thing that we like to do that I don't mind sharing is I really love to go where, especially off of buck. So I'm going to show you off of buck, one of the things that we do to protect it. So here we are running buck, down, down, pulling the kick. And especially if teams are following the guard, pulling the wrap. We like to protect it. One of the things that we'll do is we'll go slant, fade, because a lot of teams and then we'll lock this backside tackle, so the quarterback knows he has plenty of time, because how we get defended a lot is they'll put that backer over here. So now what we have is a corner and a safety, backer, safety, and then that corner. Because we'll either, depend on the formation, we can have a receiver over here. And so now all of a sudden, if just like what we saw before, if that backer starts flying, we'll hit that window right there. So when we yell lock with the quarterback, and sorry that this is messy, coach, but what we're reading is we're reading that grass right there when it's lock. So that's kind of our RPO game, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, Coach. That is a ton of great information there, especially for gap scheme guys. I know I've heard a lot of coaches say they think the RPOs are better off gap scheme because you get so much flow with those pullers and things like that. But cannot tell you how incredibly appreciative I am for your time, and I am really, really excited to follow Green Hope next year with all your returners and different guys as you continue to build that program. But we, again, just want to say thank you so much for your time, Coach. We really, really appreciate it, and we will see everybody next time for another edition of the Blue and Gold Gridiron Show.
Thanks again, coach. Appreciate this a lot. And anytime you want to talk any type of ball, just let me know. I always enjoy our time together.
Will do. Thanks, Coach.